Good day, everyone. It is a pleasure to get across to you once more. We are looking at a topic under commerce, and the topic is commercial banks. We have a lot of banking institutions all around us. We are These banking institutions differ from one to another, but we are specifically interested at looking at commercial banks this particular time. Before we go ahead and look at this particular topic, I want you to get some of the things that will enable you to put down some things which you can revisit after some time. Before we go ahead, we are going to look at the learning objectives. What are the learning objectives? The learning objectives include: one, you should be able to define a bank and banking services. Two, you should be able to list 5 different types of banks. 3, you should be able to describe commercial banks. 4, you should be able to list and explain 5 functions of commercial banks. And 5, you'll be able to list and explain 3 types of accounts. This is a typical picture of a commercial bank, especially as applicable in our country. So this is a typical picture of a commercial bank. And when we say a bank, so what do you understand by a bank? A bank ordinarily is an institution set up for the purpose of safekeeping money, valuable goods, and important documents until when such goods, money, and important documents are eventually required. What is banking to you as a person? So banks and banking are two different words. And when we say banking, this is the activity that is centered on safekeeping money, valuable goods, and important documents until when they are required by the institution that we refer to as banks. We have different types of banks, like I mentioned earlier. The different types of banks include the following. One, we have the central bank, then we have commercial banks, we have mortgage banks, we have industrial bank, we have cooperative banks, and then we equally have a microfinance bank, we have merchant banks, we also have development banks, and we have savings banks. What do we understand by commercial banks? When we say commercial banks, commercial bank is a financial institution which accepts deposits and other valuables from the public for safekeeping with the sole aim of making profit. In other words, commercial banks are specifically established to receive or to accept deposits and other important valuables from the public for the purpose of safekeeping it and to enable them to generate or make profit at the end of the day. This is a very good example of the building or picture of a commercial bank in Nigeria. So this is a bank that we come across along major cities and along major routes. What are the functions of commercial banks? The functions of commercial banks include the following. One, acceptance of deposit. That is, they accept deposits. So people that are having their funds or their money and are not using such funds or money immediately, so they can go to the commercial banks and then lodge such funds or money. And such money can be kept until when they are eventually required or can be kept for some other people that may need them. lending of money. So commercial banks also lend out money to those people that actually need them. That is, people that are investors, people that are businessmen that are not having the sufficient fund or capital, but that need such funds at a fee. In other words, when such funds are made available to them, so they pay some fee in form of interest to the banks. Then they equally serve as an agent of payment. That is, they enable individuals, organizations, and institutions to make payment, maybe for goods, for services, or for products. So individuals can actually instruct a bank to make some payment. For example, making payment for school fees for children, making payment for uh, insurance premium, and making payment for even club subscriptions and so on and so forth. Then they equally safekeep valuables. So, like we mentioned, important documents like will certificate, warrant certificate, uh, certificate of occupancy, and so on and so forth. So can be kept in banks until when there is need for such documents. Another function of commercial banks is they aid foreign exchange transactions. So important commercial banks plays an important role in the course of international trade or in the course of foreign trade. And not, in addition, they equally provide financial advice. So that is, they give advice or suggestions or make suggestions to their customers as regards maybe what to do and maybe how to handle their business activities or transactions, and how they can make the best out of such business activities or transactions. They also act as referees for customers. That is, maybe customers that wants to approach some other institutions, maybe for some benefits. So banks serve as a commercial banks serve as one of the most appropriate institutions that can actually recommend, that can actually act as referees on behalf of such customers so that they will enjoy maybe the service or the benefit that they expect from such organization. We have different types of accounts. What are the different types of accounts that one or can run, or that individuals and organizations can actually run in commercial banks or in banks? Well, we have three types of accounts, and the three types of accounts include savings accounts, that is savings accounts, current accounts, and fixed deposit accounts. So these are the three main types of accounts that individuals and organizations can eventually uh, run. And when you say savings account, so savings account is an interest bearing account. That is, in other words, in the savings account, individuals and organizations eventually deposit some amount of money, and in the account that they have in a bank or other financial institution, and they are paid a modest interest rate. And because of there's a safety and reliability, so it made them to a great option. So offers or provide this as a great option for saving cash that one may not want or that one may not use immediately. Then we also have another type of account that we refer to as a current account. And when we say current account, so this is a flexible account designed for business men, business owners, companies, firms, public enterprises, businessmen who generally have higher number of regular transactions with the bank. That enables them to manage their spending. That is, they are able to keep take records or keep the records of the different transactions from day to day, from week to weeks, and then from one month to another. Then we also have fixed deposit account. So fixed deposit account, according to its name, so is a form of account that offers a bank that offers the investors, that offer those that are having large amount of money, those that are having funds that are not going to use immediately. It offers them a higher rate of interest for lodging or for keeping such an amount of money in the bank. And there is an agreement that such amount of money is going to be kept for a specific or particular period of time. It could be for a period of 1 year, it could be for a period of 2 years, it could be for a period of 6 months. And during that particular period, so it means that person is not going to come over and then withdraw from such an amount or demand for such an amount. So it may or may not require the creation of a separate account. So the interest rate varies between 4% and 7.5%. In other words, this type of account earns a higher interest rate as a result of the fact that that type of fund of money is being kept for a longer period of time without any form of withdrawal. In conclusion, one must not be surprised to come across or to see the different types of banks that we have in Nigeria, as each of these institutions or banks plays a significant role in our day-to-day life or in the economy generally. Many of the financial institutions in Nigeria are licensed to operate under different areas. That is, they have specific areas for which they have been established and which they are expected to cater for. In other words, we have different categories of banks in Nigeria, as we mentioned above. We have the reference materials, simplified and amplified commas for SSS by Femi Lunge et al. Lunge Publishers. Then we have commas for SS by Arukana et al. Africana Publishers. And we have comprehensive commas for SSS by JU and Yali Johnson Publishers. So these are the different books that can equally help you or support you in finding out more information on this particular topic. Assignment 1. The first part of the assignment 1 is define these terms. Banks 1. Banks, and 2. Banking. B. List 5 different types of banks in the country. And C. Identify 3 types of accounts. So it should be 3 types of accounts. Thank you for your time and thank you for your attention.